Hello guys and welcome to another episode. Now this is Reunion Island, a French overseas department lying 422 miles east off the coast of Madagascar. It's a tropical island paradise known for its perfect reef passes and surf spots of all shapes and sizes, most notably former championship tour venue Saint Lô. The island has also produced some of France's top surfing talent, including long-term championship tour veteran Jeremy Flores. But Reunion has a dark side, and to be honest, you can't really mention the island without referring to sharks in the same sentence. I mean, it's seriously sharky in these parts, and the island is known primarily for its bull sharks and tiger sharks, and excluding great whites, these are the two shark species most responsible for attacks on humans. So the waters and reefs surrounding Reunion are essentially a perfect habitat for sharks, and the island is also located in part of the world dubbed Shark Highway, which is a slice of Indian Ocean between South Africa and Australia that sharks use to migrate. So what was once a surfing paradise with every wave you could ever hope to surf in one lifetime, with a booming surf culture and dramatic tropical beauty to match, suffered an unprecedented decline, not just in surf tourism, but in surfing altogether. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty shark-related stuff, let's take a look at a brief history of Reunion Island. Located in the Indian Ocean, Reunion is actually part of the Mascarene Islands, which are made up by Reunion and Mauritius. The island was uninhabited until French explorers discovered and later settled on the island in the 17th century. The French brought slaves from East Africa to work on sugar and coffee plantations, and it stayed a French colony until 1946. And then became a French overseas department, which I'm pretty sure is just a more modern way of saying colony. Now, traditionally, the Reunion Islanders weren't seafaring people, you know. If anything, the local islanders here were taught to fear and avoid the water. And it was in 1967 when Australian surfers came to Reunion and discovered perfect waves there. And then over the decades that followed, the population of Reunion began to boom as more people moved over from the mainland in France. French surfers then began surfing in Reunion, and it sort of grew and grew as this surfing destination. Over the next few decades, Reunion began to earn its reputation as this world-class, amazing tropical surf paradise, you know, as a place to rival Bali and Hawaii and Tahiti. It had perfect reef passes and loads of other different types of waves. It had a near constant swell supply, and in 2005, the island hosted the championship tour. The then ASP held the Rip Curl Search event there that went down in perfect conditions at Saint Lô, and this event showcased to the world the potential for surf, not just at Saint Lô, but in Reunion in general. Now, as you'd expect, the recognition began to attract traveling surfers from all over the globe, and Reunion began transforming into a surf travel destination. And this sort of surge in surf popularity and all the waves on Reunion sort of paved the way for the young up-and-coming crop of French surfers out of Reunion. This is where Jeremy Flores is from, and although he later did move to France to pursue his surfing career, his talent was developed across the various reef breaks of Reunion Island. And the island has also produced some other top talent, including Maxime Houssonneau, Joanne Defay and Jorgen Cousinet. So the fact that it's a small island and it's produced that much top-level surfing talent is just a testament to the consistency and the variety of waves available in such a short stretch of coast. But paradise on Earth changed forever when an explosion of shark attacks sent the island into disarray. The first of this surge of attacks came in 2011 when a local surfer was attacked at popular surf spot Roches Noires. The attack was fatal, and then between 2011 and 2019 there were 30 attacks across Reunion, 11 of which were fatal. Now, this isn't normal. Even compared to other destinations that are famous for their sharks, their stats pale in comparison to Reunion, especially when you factor in the landmass and population. Nowhere in the world had seen such a sudden and high volume of attacks in such a short period, and so the French government had to take drastic action, and it was drastic action that they took. Now, surfing was banned on Reunion in 2011. Now, the ban on surfing came from huge and relentless public pressure on the government to do something about the shark problem in Reunion. And at the same time as the surfing ban, the government began to pay local fishermen to literally go out and hunt and kill sharks. And that was the first solution to the shark problem in Reunion. Now, obviously, the shark cull was highly controversial even then. Now, eventually the cull was revoked. As it turns out, it actually violated French law. But in 2015, things took another dark turn when 13-year-old surfer Elio Canistri was attacked and killed by a shark. Now, Elio, on this day, he actually skipped school and he just wanted to go surfing just like any of us would, you know. He snuck away, didn't tell his parents, and just wanted to go for a surf, and then ended up getting killed by a shark. So with surfing banned on Reunion and this controversial culling, it gave Reunion a deadly reputation, and in the process, it essentially just decimated the surfing community. Now, this didn't just affect traveling surfers who no longer wanted to go, it was local communities and local surfers who had previously enjoyed all these incredible waves, now couldn't surf without the fear of being fined or without the fear of being attacked by a shark. Wherever you're watching this, imagine that happening, like the waves you surf every day, just, you know, not even being surfable anymore because of that. It's an insane thought. So why have there been so many attacks in such a narrow time frame? Now, in the most simple terms, the reefs and waters around La Reunion have every ingredient sharks love. As previously mentioned, it's located in Shark Highway, and the shark population here over the past few decades has also increased. Now, you can't really just say the increase in shark population is responsible for attacks. So what else could be the cause? Well, no one really knows, even now. And many wildlife experts and scientists are working very hard to understand what's going on and why this happened on Reunion. Digging around online, there are several different theories that could explain the issue. Now, I'm no shark expert, so please don't take these theories too literally. These are just some different ideas of what could be causing so many attacks in Reunion. So firstly was the establishment of the West Coast Natural Marine Reserve, which includes many of the epic surf spots along Reunion's west coast. This area is protected, so you know it's allowed sharks to come in. Increase in the general population of Reunion and therefore the surfing population, so obviously there's just more people surfing. High shark population and high surfer population, that in itself could be a reason. The sale of shark meat was banned in 1999, so fishermen were no longer going to hunt them to sell the meat, so the shark population began to increase. Another theory is that the smaller reef sharks were overfished, which meant larger sharks came closer into shore. And then a handful of environmental factors such as pollution, you know, as the population increased on Reunion, more infrastructure, waterways got polluted just from humans, and that running out into the water led to visibility problems. There's also a volcano on Reunion. The sediment from the volcano could also wash off into the water, make the water all murky. So there are several theories, and there's many more things online that you can read about that go way more in depth than the things I've just mentioned here. These are pretty basic, but experts can't really agree on exactly what's to blame for these attacks. Likely it's a combination of various different factors. So what's happening in Reunion today? Well, surfing is still banned, but you can surf either completely at your own risk of either getting attacked by a shark or by getting fined, or you can go surfing at the designated surfing areas around Reunion. Now, there aren't many, but at these areas you are protected by various different shark prevention technologies. Now, at St. Lou in particular, you have several layers of shark protection. Now, furthest out you've got smart drum lines which detect when sharks are caught and can alert people to come and remove them. Now, these drum lines are similar to those used in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa and in Queensland in Australia. If you've surfed or been to those places, you can see the drum lines. Now, originally in Reunion, any shark over 2 meters was killed. So nowadays, instead, sharks are removed and transported into a different area away from the surfers. I'm not exactly sure how they do that. You've then got water patrol, known as shark spotters, who are always looking out for sharks. Now, the shark spotters use drones and jet skis to look for sharks. They've also got divers who are swimming around and looking for sharks and guiding them away from surf spots with sticks and with spear guns if necessary. And then just your normal shark prevention technology. You know, all surfers at St. Lou have to wear an electromagnetic tag that goes either in your leash or in your tail pad. So that's what's happening at St. Lou, which is the most famous spot in Reunion. There are also various spots around Reunion that do have shark nets installed. So for now, the solution to Reunion shark problem seems to be working. I mean, there hasn't been an attack there in these protected, designated surfing areas. But obviously, it's not ideal. It's put such a restriction on surfing on the island that you can only surf these certain spots, so it's condensed the crowd. It's not completely foolproof. There's still sharks despite all of this technology. It's also expensive to have such a high level of protection at all times. So for surfers in Reunion, the reality is you're either surfing a protected and probably very crowded spot that, you know, may or may not be good on a specific swell or certain day. But if it's the only place to surf, you've just got to surf or not surf. Or you can go and risk your life at one of the unprotected spots, which, I mean, I don't know, what would you guys do? Let me know in the comments. So surfing is still very much illegal in Reunion, and if you're caught surfing, you receive an on-the-spot $50 fine. And obviously if you're going in at these spots, you're risking a lot more than $50, you know, you're risking your life. And I mean, surfing somewhere that sharky, for me, I mean, there's probably people braver than me, but when you're in that like deep, dark water, which looks like most of Reunion, at like an outer reef pass, just sounds fucking terrifying. Like, that's just not fun for me. I don't care how good the waves are, that's just insane. So despite this, a core crew of surfers continue to surf outside of the designated areas, and you know, for this core crew, surfing never went away. Now, there are some online sources that say some of the spots around Reunion are less sharky because they're located sort of outside of that West Coast Marine Reserve. You know, La Jetée looks like a crazy wave, but that's said to be less sharky, although it looks terrifying to me, so I won't be surfing there. So research is ongoing as to what can be done as a more long-term solution for sharks on Reunion, and to better understand what caused the attacks and what can be done in future to prevent more of these attacks from happening. For me, I won't be visiting the island anytime soon, unfortunately. I mean, it looks like a beautiful place with beautiful waves. If you've been to Reunion or you're from there, please let me know of your experience of surfing there and what it's actually like. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, but for now, it's goodbye from me, and I'll see you in the next episode.